Howdy vlog. Today is Tuesday, April 21st, 2026. And yeah, it is currently 2:01 p.m. and I have makeup on because I did like a really fast like makeup. I didn't even like set it or whatever. It was mainly just for cameras because I had to take some pictures for paid ads for Kiligco. And yeah, I think this whole process has kind of been teaching me a lot. I haven't really been shooting as much. Like I used to shoot a lot more in college, doing grad shoots and all those things, and I haven't really been doing that as much only because like, for certain photo shoots we'll either go to like a studio or somebody else will shoot it. And yeah, I haven't been taking photos as seriously. If anything, it's always like at events. But yeah, and I've been wanting to shoot more anyway, so today was kind of a good, I don't know, like greaser of just, dusting off the pedals on this bike or whatever. But yeah, and I don't know. I guess I have like mixed feelings around it only because with me trying to build this brand about self-love and embracing myself, it's just hard to even like the pictures that I'm taking because I'm like, wow, I don't really like the way that I look. And I've kind of struggled with my self-image for like the longest time. But I mean, I was taking photos off the Sony ZV-E1, which has like or it's my newer camera that I'm shooting off of, and I was like, wow, it gets all the real details and textures of like my skin, and I was like, ew, and I'm like, but again, I shouldn't be feeling this way either because I'm really trying to practice what I preach, and it's loving myself more. I even had a chat yesterday talking about how, you know, when I'm building this, it's like or like for me, it's like I had a Kiligco meeting and it was just like, all I did was like, I was in back-to-back meetings from maybe 4 to 8 p.m. and 8 p.m. was when my last meeting started. So 8 to 9 p.m. And I was just like, please, can I just have 5 minutes? I need to go to the restroom and just like get a quick snack because I hadn't eaten all day. And it was a Kiligco meeting. So in that meeting, I was just like, oh, I'm not even practicing, self-love to my own self. And it was a good reminder of like, with everything that I'm trying to build anyways, like I need to also kind of stop and, smell the roses and take care of myself a little better. So that was just something that I was thinking about. And then even today of like not liking the pictures and stuff, it's like I have to be a lot kinder to myself. And just a lot of thoughts came up. Just because I have never really been the best at makeup either. And so I feel like I don't wear makeup as often because if I can't even love myself without the makeup, I'm not gonna like, or so, sorry, like if I don't like the way I am without makeup on, I feel like I'm gonna just hate myself even more when I do put makeup on and then take it off, because then I'm like, oh, it was all like a facade, that's not real anymore. And so I know that these are all things that, enhance the features but not like hide them. But I guess like for me, I still haven't found that line. And yeah, it just sometimes makes me sad because I'm like, I'm really trying to improve my self-image and take care of myself. And I think it really starts from the small things. Another thing that I've always struggled with is like, for example, my hair. Like even for today, like obviously I haven't really done much to it, but you can see that like, well, I showered last night, but I put oil in it to kind of calm down the frizz for just the pictures. But the thing is, like, I've never really learned from anybody how to do my hair. Technically, my hair, I always thought it was just frizzy and like that was my hair texture. But that's actually not like a hair texture like naturally or whatever. It's because I have wavy hair, but I just haven't been able to learn how to take care of it. And so that's why it just kind of looks frizzy all the time. During the pandemic, I kind of tried a routine, but the problem with me, I guess, like when I'm trying to find it, it's like it's kind of like it's Asian wavy kind of hair. And so it gets weighed down a lot if I'm putting like a lot of product or whatever. And so I still haven't found like the perfect hair combo. Maybe I'll actually start documenting my hair journey so that it forces me to kind of fix my curl pattern, because obviously after a while my curl pattern will eventually kind of get adjusted and like to be what it naturally is. But right now, obviously since like I don't do anything to it, there it really is kind of just like wavy naturally, or depending on if I put some product in it, like the shape actually will hold. But yeah, so that's why it just kind of looks like it's like a big chaotic mess. But yeah, I think that's something that maybe I should be documenting more on this channel, because I really am not loving myself enough. As cheesy as it sounds, like I know that when I was younger, I probably would like laugh at maybe myself talking right now, but it's really true. I think I am going to document maybe each day I'm going to document how I'm kind of showing myself what's it called, self-love. I know that that's what this whole, what's it called, like, video journal was about anyways, of documenting my habits and everything. But I think, just even checking in, how am I showing love to myself today, even if it's something as simple as like, walking a mile, because those are things that I'm not actively doing as much as I should, because I keep prioritizing work over this. So I'm always at a computer most of the day. I'm like not moving as much compared to people who are at least in office jobs where they have to like drive to work or whatever. So I definitely don't have a good work-life balance, and I'm truly, 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 truly trying to work on that. But the good news is that the past couple days, I have been a little bit off more social media. I've been reading. Oh, actually, and I've been canoodling more. So I'm trying to kind of fix my baseline. I don't know what it's called, but I saw a video that's like, oh, like you are like always overstimulated because it's so normal to like pick up a phone and like, when you're bored, scroll, etc. And so my body has been used to like, okay, like I always need to be stimulated by something. And so when I'm bored, like it's kind of like flagging a signal that like, oh, like you need to go do something, whatever. So I'm trying to kind of fix my my baseline, whatever, like the dopamine hits, because every time you scroll, it's like another dopamine boost, whatever. So I'm trying to kind of correct the baseline. And one of the tactics that they said is like set a timer for like 60 seconds and just kind of exist. Don't think too much, just be in tune with your body and stuff. And I've kind of been doing that every so often so that I can kind of just like reset my mind and not have to think. So even more in the morning, I'll before I even get up, I'll kind of just take 60 seconds to just like kind of exist, because I realize every time I wake up, my thoughts are like racing. I'm like, oh shoot, I have to do this and this and this. And then I'm like, okay, pause. I haven't even checked my phone either. I'm literally just like already thinking of what I have to do. And I don't give myself that kind of moment of relaxation, or at least like, okay, today's going to be a good morning, etc. Like I'll eventually do that when I'm journaling, but immediately right when I wake up, it's almost like, oh my God, I'm filling my head with so much like thoughts, stimulation, whatever, and I shouldn't be doing that. So that's just something that I kind of picked up, and I'm trialing it out. So it honestly has been kind of helping me, at least, because I think I've talked about this before. I've had a really bad problem with like waking up feeling so tired and groggy, and my head still hurts and like headaches and all that. And so right now it's kind of been a little better. I do notice that like my mood kind of shifts if I'm, say, on social media, I see something and I go into this cycle of like comparing myself. So I have been off of it for the most part the past couple days. I'll obviously go in to check Kiliko messages or whatever, but I think I might change to like checking it on my laptop, so it's a bit easier, because I notice whenever I go into social media, I just so happen to like go into a small rabbit hole and check things or whatever, and so I'm trying to fix that. But anyways, I don't know if I talked about this, but the other day I went to the Festival of Books hosted by the LA Times at USC. So I actually did get this book. It's called, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, Urduha, by Alamat Book Series. And then this is book 4. I chose it because the first one was sold out. It's usually like a series, but then it's about a woman demigod. So I was like, okay, women, female empowerment. Let's try this. And also because I want to just not be scrolling on my phone as much. So I'm like, okay, let me kind of immerse myself into more, fictional reading and stuff. because before I was reading a lot of like self-help books and stuff like that, but I think at a certain point you kind of um read everything that you kind of need to know for like self-care. I mean, not exactly, but I'm like, okay, like I think I need to give my brain a break because I'm kind of always on, say, I don't know if it's necessarily learning mode, but it's more like I want to kind of have entertainment that isn't always just me having to learn. Obviously, it's great to learn and stuff like that, but I was like, okay, like if I'm not watching TV as much or social media as much, like what's a world I can kind of immerse myself in? And that's where I'm like, okay, fictional books, let me try that. So I like this one because I was like, okay, let me like I want to learn more about Philippine folklore and mythology. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I'll do that. And then this person, Alamat book series. Apparently, I was actually tabling next to them in Mayfest back maybe like 2 years ago when I first started Kiligko, and so it was actually awesome to kind of see them again. And I didn't realize like, oh wow, like I was a kind of a changed person because now I'm like into reading and stuff. I was kind of into reading, but I've never really done like fictional ever since like high school. No, maybe elementary school because I don't know if I read anything fiction in high school. So it's been a while. I've never really picked up reading as a hobby. I always thought it was like whatever, but now I'm like I actually really enjoy it and I want to be reading more. So I'm gonna try this out and then we'll see how it goes. I know that there were two other Filipino book vendors at this event, but by the time we got there, it was almost closing, so we're able to kind of breeze through. But Herbert's was the only one I was able to buy, and I'm actually glad because it was cool. I got the last hardcover for this one. So, yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing. What else have I been doing? Other than that, I think every day I'm just trying to remind myself that, like, there's this quote. It's called, or sorry, there's a quote that says, nothing changes if nothing changes. And so I'm really trying to do the hard things and, whether it's like waking up early and doing things that I don't want to do. And so, yeah, I'm really just trying to change my mindset and all that. What are other things that I want to just like brain dump so that eventually I can look back at this. Oh, actually, I want to talk more about the book fair. So, speaking of the book fair, we went to a panel. It was like $8 a ticket to talk about, I think it was like Asian American stories in fiction, something along those lines. And a couple thoughts kind of stuck out, a couple statements. And one thing was about, how is it writing about these stories, especially for some of them where it's like about, say, real life families or like their lived experiences and stuff like that. And sometimes it's talking about trauma that you kind of have to relive again. And so that was like one of the questions that was asked about it. And I think some of the answers, I also want to read those books too. I should probably get them. I have to remind myself what it was about. But anyways, the author, one of them had basically explained that it hurts, or like basically that kind of trauma, having to relive it, the fact that like these oral stories can eventually one day be forgotten hurts more than not having to like go through it again just for the sake of it, type of thing. And I was like, oh, that really kind of stuck with me because the same way that I kind of feel about documenting immigrant stories and how people get here, it's like that stories are eventually going to be forgotten. And so the way that she puts it into books, it's like, yeah, all of these eventually will be forgotten, and that's kind of scary to know that if it's not being written about or talked about, then eventually will be gone. And so I'm like, okay, that kind of pushes me more like maybe I'll write a freaking book. I don't know, but I think it's really awesome that I can go to things and just like be inspired by like life. And I think I haven't really been doing that as the past couple of years. I feel like I was just always on work mode. And so going to these things and community events, I truly really enjoy it because I feel like it pushes me to, I don't know, not always just be at home and just, doing what I need to do to like get by and live. I feel like I am forcing myself to like, okay, I can't be taking time for myself elsewhere unless like my business is successful until I've like achieved whatever XYZ. And I think that's the mindset I need to stop because it's really hindering me from living life in the moment right now. And something that I also have to tell myself like every morning is that I have to live every day like it's last. I'm gonna drink this. Give me a second. Sorry for the ASMR. But yeah. One thing that kind of stuck with me, again, I'm just brain dumping my thoughts because future me, I hope you see the growth in this. But yeah, there was a point where I actually stopped marking my calendar every single day because it made me sad. I was like, it's a one day closer to death. And I'm like, huh, I just didn't want to think about it. But at the same time, I think I should be doing it because it's like, okay, well, if I am one day closer to death, then what am I going to do with today? Am I going to keep pushing off the things that I want to be doing? For example, like I've had roller skates for a while. I haven't rollerbladed yet. I think I even talked about this in another video, but it's almost 2 months since I got them. And I'm just like, Sarah, what are you doing? Like, you're not living the life or giving yourself kind of, not the freedom, but I guess like, yeah, the kind of activities and enjoyment of life that you can from doing these new activities. So I guess my homework is, rollerblading, getting out, playing tennis, maybe going back to tennis lessons, going back into, not back into gymnastics. I was never in gymnastics, but trying to get into all of that. And I truly just want to be going on like as much side quests in life as I can. And I'm really not doing that. One thing that I actually am trying to do is volunteer at, I forgot what it's called, but one of the theaters in Long Beach, it's at CSULB. And so I think I should because honestly, like I'll get free tickets to watch certain shows. And also I think it forces me to kind of have to learn how to drive because I haven't driven freeways to like Long Beach. And then also, what else? And just being in a new community because I have obviously I work from home, I work for myself, I work with the people that I technically like want to work with in terms of like okay, like contractors, etc. And so I haven't had the typical or conventional traditional work experience of like having to go into an office and like complaining about coworkers. I know that's like cliche, but it's like yeah, I don't have that kind of camaraderie, I guess. Not that it's good to complain about coworkers, but it's like, I don't know what it's called. I think they call it like the coffee, the water side talks or whatever, or like coffee chats or whatever, where you're like, oh, like you're getting your water and then you strike up some conversation or whatever in the office. But I don't have that. I don't have a community or whatever in here, whatever. So I'm trying to volunteer more and just get myself out there. I kind of had it when I was going to tennis, but then I stopped, so I have to go back. But also it's like I don't want to keep paying for it if I can just like play with people and make friends there. But yeah, anyways, besides the point. I have to go back and do all those things, and that's why it kind of forces me to be like, okay, I need to, make more money and, be successful so that I can kind of not think about the price tag associated to everything. But at the same time, it's like, if I die tomorrow, then it's like, what was I saving everything for? It doesn't matter. Well, I guess for my family, but yeah. Anyways, lots of brain dumping in this, 18-minute video so far. But yeah, other than that, I think life is just lifing. This is how a 27-year-old, this is my current thoughts. And if my kids ever watch this is what I was going through. And I think I came at a time where I don't know, I'm in the middle of everything. Like technically, Gen Z or like, yeah, I guess, yeah, Gen Z childhood was like, okay, kind of the last normal-ish, depending on, when you were born, to have a normal childhood where it wasn't consumed by all technology. And then now there is so much stimulation for like kids' toys and kids' TV shows. Like now apparently a lot of the kids are like, this is what I hear from TikTok. I don't know if it's true, and I don't have my sources, so don't quote me on this. But apparently, kids nowadays are a lot more like hyperactive, etc., because of the shows that kind of influenced them. And then somebody on TikTok was like, yeah, I turned on some of like the older generations of like kid shows, and the plots slash the pace of the shows were much slower, and then they noticed kind of a shift in their kids' activities and like the way that their behavior, because they weren't kind of influenced by what they're seeing on the TV, which is like, oh, like this and this high energy, whatever. But then older shows are kind of like slow pace, and it's like it's not as like stimulation, it's a very kind of like easygoing. And I think that's that's the hard part with social media and like everything nowadays with technology. It's like, what's the new thing? What's the next trend? All these dopamine hits, scrolling. So I don't know where I was going this with this. Oh, but I was just talking about, yeah, as a 27-year-old, it's like, okay, back in my childhood, like everything was just like so different now, and it's like technology this and that, and especially with like AI and art and a lot of these like crafts that are not necessarily going away, but it's like, a lot of these artists do feel kind of pushed away because I saw somebody explain that they kept getting comments saying that like, oh, I thought this was AI, or is this AI, blah blah blah, this and that. And so they've kind of turned to, slowing down and doing more like physical stuff, like actually painting or like pen and paper instead of like always on, a iPad or whatever and stuff like that. And so I think that's kind of the shift that I want to be doing right now. I think maybe right now eventually society will overcorrect itself. That's what I'm thinking. It's basically gonna go push past the point of like, oh, like this is not normal. And I know to an extent there actually already has been like research and stuff kind of known for how social media and technology has been affecting us, but I think it's eventually going to get to the point where everybody kind of starts to feel it, because again, like mental health, suicide rates, etc., all of that can be linked to like, social media, whatever. Again, don't quote me because I don't have my exact sources. I just know that there are research out there for all that stuff. But yeah, so I'm just trying to kind of reset my life and take control of it before technology does the rest. But yeah, other than that, I think life has been, again, lifing. I'm glad I'm able to kind of brain dump and brain talk all of these. And yeah, I'm hoping in the next couple years or the longer that I do this, I'm able to kind of see my thoughts a little bit more clearly, and hopefully I can share kind of these learnings with whoever is following me on this vlog, because I saw a couple people and I'm like, I don't know who you guys are, but that's awesome. And if it helps you, it helps you. And if you just want to listen to me chat and, I don't know, go on my random tangents, then cool. Thanks for being here. But yeah, I hope that you have a great day, a great week. Actually, there is one more thing I want to talk about because, sorry, I'm going to take another sip. I normally don't drink like caffeine or energy, but I'm like, I want to be productive. And I think it's kind of like hitting me because caffeine always gets me so like, whatever. And maybe that's why I'm talking a lot, which is fine because I need to anyways. Snail mail. So I recently have been sending my friends a lot of letters. I really enjoy it. I miss, like, again, I'm trying to go back to analog. I miss, well, not like I even did mail letters like when I was a kid, but my mom always sent out a bunch of cards. I didn't realize it. She'd always print the pictures and then send them out to her people, because at the time you didn't have like phones that you could just text each other the pictures, etc. And yeah, I think I really like that because those memories, it's like, yeah, it's like you can have it on your phone and everything, but if your storage goes away, you lose your phone, then where the fuck are those memories? And so I'm like, okay, I would like to be printing out more things. I mean, obviously I've been junk journaling and stuff. But yeah, when I first started mailing my friends stuff, I would send pictures and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my God, I'm turning into my mom. But anyways, I really liked it. And now it's kind of transformed into also sharing kind of quotes of the days and some mindset shifts. And I kind of really enjoy it because I kind of have to do this multiple times for some of my friends of like, oh, like I'm gonna give these like quotes, etc. And so it serves as like a daily reminder for me too, like having to always, well, I mean, I really just recently started these quotes, but I think it kind of helps me reframe my mindset, but also having to write it, say like 6 or 7 times. Yeah, it kind of helps me ingrain that in my head. And I've really been enjoying kind of sending them letters and just writing about my day and stuff like that, and just having a pen pal. And I recently was like, oh, well, actually Kevin was actually telling me, he's like, oh, have you ever thought of like a snail mail club? Because he was like, oh, I know that you like writing letters and stuff. And I'm like, honestly, I have thought about it. I have seen people do it, but I'm like, oh, I don't think that's for me. And so honestly, I'm like, actually, maybe I should, because I do love writing to people, and I think it would be a great way for Kiliko to also get like, so if people wanted to write to me, they could. But yeah, I wonder how it'll go. I've always seen people put in their like private mailboxes and be like, "Oh, like send me mail," and I'm like, "Oh, I never thought that anybody could send anything to me," but I'm like, "Oh, maybe I'll try and see," because I think there's nothing more like, I don't know, like exciting and giddy than, looking through your mail and seeing that somebody took the time to write you a letter and write you back, and physically, take the time out of the day to write it, go to the post office and send it out, or just like, put it outside for their mailbox, whatever the case. But yeah, I think it's so thoughtful, and I miss, taking the time to like slow down and be able to like, write to people. And I really love sentimental things and just being able to kind of have that physical memorabilia. And I think that's why I really love junk journaling. I didn't realize it. I should have started junk journaling earlier, because I was like, I have a lot of things that I just keep, but I don't put them anywhere. Like I just kind of have them. So I'm glad that I now have like a medium for that. And then now I'm glad that I'm thinking about doing this snail mail like club for Kid Co, because yeah, I'm sure everybody just wants to have community, and so I also want to kind of have that too with a lot of the followers that I've kind of amassed over the couple years, which is crazy. 2 years. Well, going on 2 years in May. In May, that's basically when I started vending and taking this kind of officially. So 2 years and what, 27.4K followers. That's crazy. And even if it's just like two people from my community that wants to do this, then sure, so be it, because I just want to have a community that I can kind of not necessarily call my own, but obviously like that I can kind of foster for other people and eventually do craft nights or whatever, because I just enjoy those things, game nights and all that. When I did the first Kiliko session with Abby of Try Counseling, people were like, "Oh, is there going to be a Discord or what's going to happen afterwards?" Because I would love to have a community, whatever. So I was like, "Oh my God, like yes, like I didn't realize people actually want to do that." So I was like, "Okay, cool. Let's see what the heck happens." But yeah, so those are just things that I'm excited about, and I hope that it actually comes to fruition, or like, in the next couple months, years, whatever it is. But yeah, those are just some of the things that I'm currently building right now, and I'm excited for you to see the behind the scenes of all of this, because this is kind of like my secret Finsta account, but for like YouTube and just my thoughts. So I'm glad that I'm able to have this space and just dump. But anyways, that's all for today. It's almost 27 minutes, which is crazy. So now I'm going to basically jump into work and figure out my life. But yes, I'll be back tomorrow. So thank you for listening to these freaking tangents. But yeah, that's life. Bye.